Alright guys, I'm back again, and this is my longly anticipated Sega Genesis collection video. Now I talked about making this video for quite a while. I think I mentioned it like once or twice in one of my videos or something, but I never really got the time or energy to really pull everything out and really feel like showing you guys until now. So I figured that, you guys would really enjoy this video because I have quite a bit of stuff here, as you can see. Definitely a lot larger than my Super Nintendo collection, which I really want to get more games for that, but Super Nintendo is just so much more expensive compared to the Genesis games, because I really didn't acquire all these games really on purpose. I mean, actually, most of these were just found, like, practically, dirt cheap at a thrift store or a pawn shop or something, and before I had some lucky Craigslist scores where I got some really, really good games in great condition, so I mean, most of these I just got because they were just, so dirt cheap, and I just really couldn't pass them up. So, Sega Genesis is definitely a really good system to collect for because the games, are really, really good looking, actually. They're not bad at all. Comparing it to the Super Nintendo, it's not bad at all, but they're just so much cheaper compared to Super Nintendo games, I noticed. So if you're looking to start a collection fast, I would go for the Sega Genesis because, the games are practically being given away, especially if you're looking for loose cartridges. I mean, they can go for like $1 or $2 sometimes, so they're pretty affordable. So we'll start off here with the hardware that I got. I have the Model 1 Sega Genesis. Now this one is a little bit different compared to other ones because it doesn't have the high definition graphics emblem on the top there. That's because this is one of the later model ones that has the expansion port taken off from the back, and it also doesn't have as good of sound as one of the earlier model ones, but that's okay because it still has that really cool, rounded look to it, and it's still got the volume control and the headphone jack right there. So that's all that really matters to me. And next to that is the Sega Genesis that I used to play my games with, is my Model 2 Sega Genesis. Reason why I use this one is because it's smaller and it'll save a lot more space, when I have as many consoles as I do on the shelf. And it works just as good, but I don't think it looks nearly as cool as that. But I have it anyway. And the only real accessory that I have for the Genesis is this 3-button arcade power stick. I picked this up, I think, like 2 months ago or something like that. My dad got this for me. And in a lot of ways, it's really similar to the NES Advantage, with the big joystick, big buttons, and the Turbo Fire thing on it. And I remember mentioning that I plan on making a video where I'm going to compare this to the NES Advantage, which I will get around soon. I have no idea when, because my school schedule is so busy. I have no idea when I'll get around to that, but trust me, it'll come. I just don't know when. So that's my hardware, and now we'll get on to the games, most of which are in the box, but I do only have 4 games that are loose, so I'll just go ahead and show you those first. So, without further ado, let's just get started here with Street Fighter II Special Champion Edition. Sadly, this is the only version of Street Fighter II that I own. I actually really want to get the Super Nintendo version. There's so many Super Nintendo versions out there that, I know that are pretty affordable, but I just haven't gotten around to getting them yet, so looking forward to trying those out. But I really need a 6-button controller to play this, but unfortunately I really don't have a good 6-button controller to play it, so for now it's okay, but I'm waiting to get a better controller to play that. Pitfall: The Mind Adventure. This was also released on Super Nintendo. I've never played that one, but this is a really good game. I mean, it really doesn't have anything to do with the original Pitfall for the Atari 2600. It's really more of its own unique game, but, it's really good. I liked it. And then we have Columns, which is, in a lot of ways, really, really similar to Dr. Mario more than Tetris. I know a lot of people like to compare this game to Tetris, but to me, it has a lot more in common with Dr. Mario, except it's way, way harder. But still, it's really good. And the last loose cartridge that I have is actually the first Sega Genesis game that I ever owned, and that is Super WWF WrestleMania. And it's a pretty good wrestling game. I'm not really into it that much. I mean, the only reason why I played it is because it's the only Genesis game that I had at the time. Which, by the way, I picked up that Genesis, the hookups, a controller, and this game right here for free off of some guy that my dad works with. He wasn't sure that it worked, and he just gave it to my dad and said, "Here, take it," and it worked. So that's the only reason why I played this game. It was okay, but, you know, wrestling games aren't really my thing. So now we'll get into the boxed games. Alright, first up is NHL PA Hockey 93. This does not have the NHL team license, but it does have the player's license. So it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but that's the way they did it. It's an okay hockey game, but the only reason why I have it, of course, is because it was like $1, so I really couldn't pass it up. But it doesn't have the instruction manual with it, it's only got the cartridge. Next up we have is Clue. I really haven't played this game, but I'm assuming it's based off the board game. If it's not, then that's some pretty jacked up stuff right there. And it is complete in the box. This is the cardboard box version. It does have the instruction manual behind that. So if I can close this, there we go. Next one is Urban Strike by EA. Pretty standard game. You're a helicopter going around blowing up buildings. I mean, it's really nothing too fancy or nothing really to write home about, but it's an okay game. It is complete in the box with the cartridge right there and the instructions behind that. Scoot up here. Next up we got is one of the last Sega Genesis games ever made, and that is Frogger. I also have the Super Nintendo version of this game, and I really have to say that this is so much better because this is actually a straight port of the arcade game, as the Super Nintendo version's like, you know, trying to make it its own, which I kind of didn't like it. This is a really great version of Frogger. I highly recommend this one. And it is complete with the instructions and the game cartridge right here. As you can kind of see, it says Frogger. Yeah. Not easy to, you know, try to open these boxes with one hand here, but I'm doing my best, guys. Next up we got is Paperboy. Based off the arcade game, and I still like the NES version better, but this is still really good, but I think that this version is just so much harder. For some reason, it's a lot more challenging to me, but that could be different for some other people. And it is complete. There's the instructions right there. Here's the cartridge. Next, we have Ms. Pac-Man. Great version of Ms. Pac-Man. It's got all kinds of new mazes on it and stuff to really keep you busy. Really doesn't try to do a whole lot, you know, that's new, which, you know, I think really makes this game as awesome as it is. And it is complete in the box with the manual and cartridge right there. Sonic Spinball. An okay game. You know, I tried playing it before because, you know, I've seen a lot of people on the internet talk about it. Thought I would pick up a copy, and I ended up finding it at a thrift store for $1. And it is complete in the box with the manual and the game cartridge. But I just didn't care for it. I really don't know what all the hubbub is about this game, but I kind of didn't like it. I thought it was really boring. Sorry to all the fans of that game, but I didn't like it. Echo and the Tides of Time. This is essentially Echo 2. And I don't have the first Echo game, but I'm kind of curious to try it just to see how it compares to this. But I really haven't played much of this one. I really didn't enjoy it that much. It's okay, but it's not my kind of game. It's a little too relaxed for me, I guess. Doesn't have the manual, but there's the cartridge right there. Tecmo Super Bowl. Great football game. This is really, really awesome. I'm really looking to get the NES version of this game, you know, really, really cheap one day, but it's really expensive for a sports game. But I wound up getting this for $1, again, at the thrift store. So I'm looking to get the NES version of this game, but the Genesis version is just as good, if not better, because, you know, the graphics are obviously updated. There's the game cartridge right there, and once again, there is no manual. I got my stack almost falling over there. Next up, Jurassic Park. I really haven't played much of this one, so I really can't say much about it, but it looks okay. And there's the game cartridge and the instructions behind that. Let me scoot up here. And one of my prized possessions of any video game collection that I have is a complete and boxed copy of Castlevania Bloodlines for the Sega Genesis. Now, this isn't exactly a rare game, really, but it goes for a lot of money because it was released late in the Genesis's life, and, you know, I guess it was released in a limited quantity for whatever reason, but this game is just really, really valuable online. And I got lucky enough to find this on Craigslist with a bunch of other Genesis games for $1.50. So that was a complete steal for this game. And it's the cardboard box version. Here is the game cartridge. And you can see the instructions are behind that. So it is a fully complete copy. Definitely a very prized possession in my video game collection out of every system that I have. And I could easily sell this online and make about, you know, 30 bucks if I really wanted to, you know, 30 or 35 bucks. But I'm not going to do that because I really like this game. It's a lot of fun. And we've got Sonic 1, Sonic 2, and Sonic the Hedgehog 3. The first Sonic game I wound up getting complete in the box at the Salvation Army for $2. And there's the cartridge. Here's the Sega poster, which I, you know, really can't unfold right now because I'm kind of running out of time here. And the instruction manual right there. So $2 for a complete Sonic the Hedgehog 1. I'm gonna put this back. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 I got for 99 cents at a garage sale. Does not have the manual though. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 I actually found in the VHS section of another thrift store, so that was pretty surprising to get that, and this one also is complete in the box. And everyone knows how awesome Sonic the Hedgehog is, so I really don't think I have to say, you know, why these games are really awesome, because everybody knows that by now. Getting to the end of the line here, we've got Star Trek The Next Generation, Echoes from the Past. I am not a Star Trek fan by any means. I actually prefer Star Wars. I'm pretty sure I pissed off a lot of fanboys by saying that, but I really don't like Star Trek that much, so I really haven't played this game. But it's more like a space exploration sort of adventure game, and it is complete in the box. And another really great game, Mortal Kombat, which for this game, guys, I, you know, can't seem to get the blood and the fatalities in this game. I don't know why. I mean, for the longest time, I've heard that the Genesis version has all the blood, has all the gore, but I cannot get this, I mean, in this game. I don't know if it's my copy in particular. If anybody knows out there why that is, please let me know. I mean, if I have to unlock it or something. But I can't get any blood in this game right here. I have no idea why. And it is complete in the box. And just like Street Fighter 2, I need to get a 6-button controller to enjoy that game even better. We have Golden Axe. Great side-scrolling beat-em-up. I actually prefer this over Double Dragon for the NES. It's just that much more fun. And it is complete in the box, as you can see right there. I've got like 1 minute left here before I run out of time here. Winter Olympics, even though it says Mega Drive on it, and it's in like a dozen languages on the back, it is a Genesis game because of the Genesis logo on the cartridge. And even though it says Mega Drive on the instruction manual, it's still a Genesis game. I don't know what the deal with that is. If anybody knows, please tell me. It's just really weird. PGA European Tour Golf. Just the cartridge, no manual. Pretty standard stuff. NHL 94. Great hockey game. Loved it. Just as good as, you know, Ice Hockey or Blades of Steel for the NES. Complete and boxed. And the last Genesis game that I have, NHL 97. Not as good as 94 in my opinion. Complete and boxed. So I really hope you guys enjoyed my Sega Genesis collection video. And as always guys, have a great day.